Hello, thank you for joining in. So, dplyr did a major version upgrade recently. It upgraded to 1.0.0, and one of the major change or a major function which has been introduced is the across function. And this across function is supposed to be a replacement for all the previous at, if, and all verbs in dplyr. So by at, if, and all verbs, I mean functions like summarize at or summarize if, also mutate if, and in addition to this, summarize all and mutate all. So all these functions are replaced now with across function. One function across which will be used for all of them. So in this video we will learn how to replace these functions with across function. Let's take an example. As usual, we'll take empty cast dataset, which is the default one in R, which looks like this, which has 32 rows and 11 columns. So let's say we want to take grouped mean of 3. So previously using summarize at, if we want to take mean of, let's say, columns mpg to hp, basically mpg to hp, we pass them through vars, and next is the function that we want to apply. Let's say mean. So we are grouping by cylinder column, and for columns mpg to hp we are applying mean function here, right? So this was using summarize at. It gives us mean for each unique value of cylinder column for these, and the mean of these 3 columns per cylinder, right? So now with across, what we do is basically the group by remains the same. Summarize at is now replaced with only summarize. No need to mention vars. It works in the same way as it used to work in summarize at. So we can give a range of columns mpg to hp. And now the second argument of across function is mean. Let me close this. Right, so it gives us the same output as before. So it's a small and simple change, and I think it would not take much time to get used to across function. Now you can also apply this function only to specific columns, let's say only mpg and hp, and you don't want to apply it for all the columns in between. So like this, so only mpg and hp is applied. So previously with summarize at, we could also refer column names based on their position like this, which did not need vars argument as we needed here. So even this worked. So the same works with across as well. So here you can mention the position of the columns. So it works the same way, right, using position as well. As you might have got an idea that nothing has changed much. So for example, if you want to do the same things with mutate, let's say we want to square certain columns using mutate at, we used to do mpg hp, and the first, and here we apply a function. Let's take only head, so we get only first 6 rows. Oh, oops, we want to square this value. So now I'll show you the head of empty cars so that you can compare. So now as we say, from mpg to hp, all the values we have taken square of it. So you can see 21 becomes 441 till hp. So HP is 110, this becomes 121.00, and after all these columns after that remain the same. So these values are same as these values, right? So all the columns after that remain the same. It's only from MPG to HP these columns are squared values of these columns. So this was with mutate at. As I've shown for summarize at, the same change we need to do for mutate at as well. Change this to mutate cross, pass the function which you want to apply, close mutate bracket and head. Right, so we can see that it's the same value. So there is, however, a small change in the if variants that are applied. So for example, summarize if and mutate if, we need additional function to include a predicate function, that is condition which returns logical values for true or false. For that we need to use an additional function which is where. So previously with mutate if, what we used to pass a predicate function, we say for numeric values take the square root of them, right? This used to work, right? So since in empty cars all the values are numeric, this works for all the columns. With across, what we need to do is we need to wrap this up in where clause. So mutative becomes mutate, we add across, this becomes where is numeric, and set here is the same. So just a small change here. For if variants like mutate if and summarize if, we need to use an additional function which is where here. So these are all the functions which are replacement of the existing functions. Now let's look at something which is new in dplyr. So what we can do in this new dplyr which was not possible in the previous version of dplyr, we can apply multiple functions on group of columns. So let's say for first 4 columns we want to take sum, next 4 columns we want to take mean, and we also want an additional column which will count number of rows basically. Now first 4 columns, this is the sum value, so for next 5 columns we are taking mean value of those next 5 columns, and we add an additional column which is counting the number of rows in the data. So mixing these kind of functions was not possible previously, like for example applying a function to subset of columns. It was not possible using summarize previously, but it is possible now with across. We can also assign column names using .names argument which is present using the glue syntax. So let's say we have first 4 columns again, so doing, now we want a prefix, some prefix to be applied to the column, so we can use the names argument and use prefix, let's say ABC. So what this means, here call represents the column. So first 4 columns are MPG, CYL, DSP and HP. So those are now prefixed with ABC underscore the column name, ABC underscore MPG, ABC underscore CYL, and this function sum was applied to them. Right, so this call is basically a placeholder for the column name. Now you can also apply multiple functions. So this is similar to the previous version. So we have a named parameter passed here and applying sum and mean function. And now instead of ABC, let's give function names. So even fun if n here is a placeholder for the function name which we are applying. Now you can see the sum is for this, coming from this sum and mean. So sum mpg, mean mpg, sum cyl, mean cyl. So we are using these placeholders as column names. Also remember that R and also tidyverse do not encourage to have same column names. So you have to make sure that the column names which are generated using this dot names argument have to be unique. If it is not, then it will return an error. Hopefully this will get you started, and if you have any queries or suggestion, please feel free to comment on the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.